Hi, it's Ramsey Dewey from the JX Fight Club in Shanghai, China. Today we have a question from Matteo Russo, who says, "Hello Ramsey, big fan. Hey, thank you. I would like to know your opinion in learning both BJJ and Muay Thai at the same time, and if it differs from Coach Zahabi's." A reference to Faraz Zahabi, the mixed martial arts coach at the TriStar Gym. And he gives a link to a short video that Faraz Zahabi made. I'll put a link in the description down below. It's an excellent video on training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai at the same time, especially if you have a limited amount of time, which all of us really do. Time is the limiting factor when it comes to learning anything, especially mixed martial arts. Now, Matteo, I'm going to give you my answer from the perspective of someone who trains cage fighters specifically. And I understand that is Coach Faraz Zahabi's job. I believe, however, he was giving this answer from the perspective of somebody answering a hobbyist who has very limited time to train, as a lot of my viewers and a lot of his viewers do, maybe 2-3 times a week, and they don't have time for two-a-days, and they don't have time to train like a professional fighter. So how do they best invest their time? And he gave some really good advice. Basically comes down to train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and afterwards do some kickboxing work. Not necessarily take a kickboxing class, but hit the heavy bag for 20 minutes or whatever it is. Do something of your own initiative to work on becoming better at striking after your grappling class, or vice versa. And that's great advice. Now, I'm going to say that's great advice for the average person who trains a few times a week, attending a gym with a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu / Muay Thai split type of program. And a lot of people fall into this category, and a lot of quote-unquote MMA gyms fall into this category as well. And I say MMA up in quotes because a lot of gyms that call themselves MMA gyms aren't really mixed martial arts gyms in my estimation. They offer a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu program or some comparable grappling program, and they offer Muay Thai or some comparable striking program, and never really delve into the sport of mixed martial arts itself. Now, I would add to what Coach Zahabi said, that if you want to master striking before learning anything about grappling, or vice versa, that you will never, ever learn anything about grappling. Have you ever met a master of grappling? Maybe. Have you ever met a master of striking? Maybe. But these people are few and far between. They're not the average person. The average person does not master a martial art. The average person is not a master of grappling or jiu-jitsu. 2 or 3 days a week, for the average person, you're never going to master that stuff. What you can do is become competent in it. Now listen, in a fight, striking and grappling happen in tandem. They happen together. So the idea of separating them, always separating them in training, is counterproductive in my estimation. Now, it is important to spend time focusing on specific skill sets, like have a boxing class or a Muay Thai class or a jiu-jitsu class or a wrestling class. Again, I'm speaking for mixed martial artists, people training for the sport of mixed martial arts. I don't want there to be any confusion about that. But if you watch an MMA fight, it is very clear grappling and striking happen together in tandem. It is all part of the same thing, and any separation between them is artificial. It's shocking to me how many people have attended MMA gyms for years and years, and they've never actually done any MMA sparring. They've never sparred under unified rules. They've never actually mixed their martial arts. They've attended jiu-jitsu classes and maybe even become great grapplers. They've attended boxing or Muay Thai classes and become proficient strikers. But at the end of the day, if they were to get in a cage fight with a competent mixed martial artist, they'd get their butts kicked because they've never actually trained for that sport. MMA is a weird sport in that regard. If you think of almost any other sport, let's take basketball, for example, because it's the first one that came to my mind. Now, there are a lot of activities that good basketball players do. They lift weights, they run, they do drills, separate out very specific skill sets pertinent to basketball. But at the end of the day, they also play the game. What happens if they lift weights and they run and they do drills, but they never actually play the game? How good are they going to be at playing the game? Not very, in my estimation. So, man, you've got to mix your martial arts. In my opinion, if you want to be any good at MMA, you've got to devote at least as much time to mixing your martial arts, if not significantly more, than you do to specific skill sets like BJJ or boxing or Muay Thai or wrestling or judo or whatever else you're mixing into your martial arts, preparing for a cage fight. I hope that helps answer your question. Thanks for watching. Now get out there and train.